Yeah, I mean, as for Maldiva, we're playing phenomenally. We saw towards the end of the series that Metaphor's defense was cracking, and Snuts was able to take advantage of that and stay in the upper bracket. So if they can come together as a team and all play at the top level, they definitely have a good shot. They've got the more of a alt matchup, though. If Absurge wants to go Druid against Druid, both of those players main Shaman typically, so they may have an opportunity there. They may run the Rogue Shadow Priest, but with a Druid instead of a Shaman and try and play for the late game, but I still think that the Warlock is more favored in that specific sense. I actually think Shaman is not actually that awful in this case. Maybe in the absolute late game, but earlier on they'll be able to shut them down.
I don't think we've ever seen such a dominant vote in the Twitch chat. 94% of you think that the move can do it after their reverse sweep, and you know what? They're going to be doing it on the comp that they are so well known for. Is it going to be enough to take down Storm?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think the move, they have a nice setup here. They're going to be able to put out a lot of pressure on Maldiva when they do finally push in. Shadow Priests have a lot of crowd control. Absurge is going to be able to deal with Maldiva a little bit too with the grounding, with the wind shear. These are all very powerful tools against the Destro Warlock. We have to get off these big casts in order to do effective damage.
Nesper once again playing patiently, sapping WizK while Peekaboo starts his attack, and that delayed it so they couldn't coordinate together, and that was good defensive play. I would almost argue that Nesper may be one of the best defensive rogues in the game, but he also needs offense to close the match. While Storm have been playing phenomenal defense, they need to also attack at some point. Maldiva is going to be leading the charge in that front. One Chaos Bolt flying in towards Peekaboo, but Nesper taking the brunt of it as these rogues go head-to-head to assert dominance. Which one is going to stay in the tournament? Which one's going to be going home? We're going to find out here shortly in game one. Maldiva just raining terror down from these Chaos Bolts, but we can see that the move are wisely avoiding Maldiva's line of sight, but actually getting caught here. A lot of damage on Peekaboo. He trinkets, he Cloak of Shadows to avoid the Maledict of Metaphors, and that was a bit of a close call for the move early on.
Yeah, a little bit scary there. Nesper now being caught into a kidney shot smoke bomb. He trinkets out with this Cloak of Shadows in order to survive. In the move, they just want to kind of outlast some of this damage that's coming in from Maldiva, sort of recover from the Dark Soul, from the Infernal cooldown. Those are long CDs. Once they can sort of recover from that point, that's when they can push in and get aggressive. You can see Metaphors, he actually has no trinket. So one clean setup, if WizK can push in, he can get the Psychic Horror into a Fear, into a Disarm. They might be able to take down Maldiva, or at least force some cooldowns.
So far, Maldiva has been left open, and he's really raining terror in there with these Chaos Bolts. WizK getting swapped to. Maldiva lining up a Chaos Bolt. Peekaboo saves WizK with a nice timed kick there, stopping Chaos Bolt from getting off. Absurge now in a blind, and WizK's falling behind. Maledict committed, and Absurge decides to break out of blind and save the day. The move backing each other up, but they're running limited on options here. Peekaboo is vulnerable moving forward. If Nesper gets a smoke bomb, it could be curtains for Peekaboo. Peekaboo needs to be ready for that. Absurge moves close to him. They drop the kidney shot. Where's the smoke bomb? They're not going to go for it. Nesper wants to play it safe and make sure it's absolutely guaranteed, but the longer that he waits, the more likely the move will be able to respond.
Yep, Maldiva now into the kidney shot, trying to slow down Maldiva just a little bit. Metaphor's mana, look at it. He's actually used so much mana in this matchup so far. It's honestly kind of unexpected. Absurge leading in terms of his blue bar. So now a kidney shot over onto Absurge, to Fear onto Peekaboo. Some solid pressure coming in for Storm once again. Metaphor sneaks away, far away, looking for that drink, looking to reset his mana bar at this point in the game. The longer he can drink, the more mana he will regenerate. WizK having to play a little bit defensive right now. Maldiva still in a kidney shot, taking some damage. Fear on a Nesper. Metaphors pushes in, caught into the blind, trinkets out. Now there's a small opening here for the move, but WizK is just not getting topped off.
I mean, Absurge has to heal two members. With Absurge and WizK standing next to each other, Nesper is just tearing into two targets on an assassination rogue. He can have Rupture on multiple members, generate more energy, and deal more damage. They need to start spreading out, but if they spread out, then they are open for Maldiva to get Chaos Bolt, so it's a tough decision. Are you more afraid of Chaos Bolt, or are you more afraid of the rogue? It seems like they're more afraid of Chaos Bolt, and I would say that's probably the wise decision. Metaphor still kind of burning low on mana. I'm not sure if WizK is dispelling a lot of heal over time effects. That is the advantage they get with the Shadow Priest over the Destruction Warlock. Peekaboo locked down in a kidney shot. Would have liked to see this swap to Peekaboo a bit earlier on with Nesper's Smoke Bomb. I think that was one clear win condition they had that now has been lost with Peekaboo's Gladiator's Medallion available. Maldiva leading the charge, gets a Chaos Bolt off, but Peekaboo reverses the pressure with that Maledict. Tons of damage. Unending Resolve has been forced, but even still, Maldiva could falter here in game number one as he retreats away with the Gateway. Metaphor's right next to him to pick him back up, but now Nesper is overextended, taking the brunt of this exchange, and the move are playing a lot more together, but Nesper is just tearing in on triple threat here, doing damage to all 3 members. Cataclysm hits all 3 members, and the damage output from Storm is quite heavy, and I'm not sure how long Absurge can keep this up.
Well, Nesper, with the Fan of Knives specialization, is going to be getting a lot of combo points. He can put Rupture on everyone, like you were saying, so the move has to find a balance of line of sighting Maldiva, but also not clumping up too much where they're all getting Fan of Knives in this situation. Kidney shot on WizK. Tons of pressure coming in from Storm. Absurge getting locked out. Peekaboo and WizK both falling further and further behind. This could be the dispersion here, and Maldiva's out of line of sight right now. Nesper really doing such a good job.
I mean, I'm wondering if he's running the Fan of Knives Honor talent to increase the damage, because he's literally mashing Fan of Knives. It does spread poisons onto the entire team, which is effective to reduce healing and do damage. So Nesper is taking advantage of this composition. If the enemy team wants to avoid the Warlock, Nesper can maximize damage. If they want to avoid the Rogue, then Maldiva maximizes damage. And they're really taking advantage of this composition. And Metaphors just sneaks away, regenerates mana, keeps up a couple heal over time effects, stays away from the fight, and lets his team carry him effectively in this matchup. And it looks like an unbreakable defense. I'm trying to see any opportunities here. Potentially they can take out Maldiva. They got a lot of burst earlier in the match onto him, but Peekaboo gets deflected away by Nesper. Maldiva channeling out some Chaos Bolts. Peekaboo's going to take 1, take 2. Now he's going to hang on. Well-timed feint, reducing the pressure, but the mana lead is established. We've just set foot in dampening, and momentum is in favor of Storm.
All that needs to happen is Peekaboo needs to charge in, get the blind on Metaphors, and force his trinket. If he can force his trinket, now there's a situation where they get any more crowd control. Maldiva has no wall, no nothing, but Absurge in a kidney shot, taking a little bit of damage. Is there any follow-up by Maldiva? Doesn't look like it just yet. Absurge survives with the Gladiator safeguard. Although this looks really scary for the move, they're one clean setup away. Maldiva, no defensives left. Unending Resolve still not available for 50 seconds. Metaphor, no trinket. They just need one good CC chain where WizK pushes in. If he can get a Psychic Horror, Silence into a Fear, anything, then they can take Maldiva down.
Another kidney shot on Absurge, and Nesper is just tearing in. Devastation, Chaos Bolts flying in, no momentum, maybe an opportunity, a miracle at best, but the move are capable of miracles. They've pulled off at worse odds than this in the past, so if there was a team to do it, it would be these 3 members, Absurge, Peekaboo, and WizK, but it's really, really, really not looking good for them right now. If you're a move fan, they need your energy most certainly to pull this one off. Nesper gets caught. This may be the opportunity. He trades Cloak of Shadows. That reduces a lot of damage. Now WizK gets set up on. He gets coiled on his trinket. Good setup by Maldiva as they continue to march forward to victory. Absurge so low on mana, forced to use Healing Wave instead of Chain Heal. Chain Heal going to be doing a lot more healing against the spread pressure, especially with the Azurite traits he has selected, but he just doesn't have the mana to use it anymore. Healing Wave a lot more ineffective, but more mana efficient. Absurge blinded. He's trying to be greedy and sit through it. This could end up being a mistake as WizK is taking the brute force of Chaos Bolts in midfield and has to respect Maldiva. Trades out Dispersion, immediately retreats back to the pillar. Peekaboo moves in, trying to deflect Nesper away from his team. Dampening starting to ramp up to critical mass. I think when we get to around about 30 or 40%, things are going to become basically impossible for the move.
Yeah, it's looking scary for the move, especially if Maldiva takes this very defensive position. It's difficult to push out into midfield and actually get any significant damage, because I actually don't think the move will be able to take down Nesper. He's being patient. He has his evasion. He has his vanish. I think he still has his trinket, so they'll have to basically force Nesper to mess up huge, and I think Nesper's not going to do that. He's a very good rogue defensively, knows what he needs to do to stay alive, and he knows if they can just sit back, if they can just get the Fan of Knives, they get the Rupture, the Growth on the enemy team, eventually they can win. But the move has stabilized. They've stayed out of line of sight from Maldiva long enough. Nesper hasn't really been able to charge in. Metaphor sitting down for, I think, a drink, or no, he's not going for a drink just yet. There's a full blind on the Metaphors. Peekaboo charging in with a sprint. Kidney shot on Maldiva. The move trying to make some plays here. Metaphors does trinket out, but Maldiva with the Infernal is going to be a very scary person right now. WizK caught into the smoke bomb, doesn't have Dispersion, but he does use the Fade to avoid a little bit of damage, but the move's still in trouble.
This next Chaos Bolt could be devastating if Maldiva is able to get it off. He needs, if he activates that Dark Soul, it's going to be, there's the Dark Soul. Is there a stop for the Chaos Bolt? Maldiva's channeling it. Where is it going? Is it going into a grounding totem? No, it's going straight to Peekaboo. He pre-Cloak of Shadows the bash. Great play by Peekaboo, but now Maldiva switches attention. Switches his attention to WizK.
Home run.
Types /delete into his chat command there really quickly, and WizK's gone.
WizK did get absolutely torn to shreds there in the final moments, but the pressure convincingly on the side of Storm throughout that matchup. What do we think? Can we see throughout the rest of the series the move stick to this composition that's gotten them so far, not only in this tournament, but just in their careers?
It's rough to say, honestly, because the reason why the game looks the way it does is because the Resto Druid, he can stay far back on the other side, he can go for drinks whenever he wants. He's not really going to be a target in the same sense that we saw in the previous match that the move played, where Peekaboo was able to kind of chase down that Resto Druid and start creating pressure that way. It's very hard to do when there is a Warlock in between you and that Resto Druid, and the Druid is playing so far back, Maldiva's playing so far back. Nesper is really the only target that you get to hit, and as long as you keep hitting Nesper and Nesper is bleeding up everyone, you're playing against a Shaman with that Druid, you are slowly but surely going to win the game when you get to this part in the game. You can see Metaforce still has about half mana, and here, big bolt onto WizK. 5 seconds left on that Gladiator's Medallion, so he wasn't able to use his Void Shift. Also 5 seconds left on that Dispersion, so he wasn't able to use that either. It's a nice setup. It's a nice small window there that they capitalized on, but I want to see changes. I think the whole situation just occurs from the fact that Absolute is a Shaman. If he plays a Druid as well, they're not going to be stacked up on that pillar the same way. They're going to have the same mana, and it's just going to open up a lot more opportunity for them.
I checked immediately. That's going to be the Druid. We talk about, you see Maldiva playing very defensively. Now the move can actually move into that late game, but let's talk about having WizK on the Death Knight and having Jelly Beans on the Warrior. Ven, how do you like this?
Well, I think it's okay. I mean, when you're thinking about the composition, you're like, okay, well, melee cleaves are good against Destro Warlocks. They can't really get away. You have a Warrior, you have an Unholy Death Knight, you're going to have a lot of stops for them, a lot of consistent pressure, but I feel like with the Assassination Rogue and the way Maldiva's playing, they are going to have a lot of pressure on WizK and Jelly Beans, and Destruction Warlocks, especially with the new Demon Skin, are surprisingly tanky. They have a lot of armor, they have a lot of health that you have to get through, and with Resto Druid backing you up, it can be difficult to push through that, even for a melee cleave like this.
They're definitely good. When we do look at Jelly Beans, though, we've seen him have to multi-class.
I know you were messaging Colo to get him to queue with you and your Warlock.
It's like, Colo, hey, Monday, you're not busy, right? The tournament's going to be over. You want to queue a little bit? But when we do look at Jelly Beans right now, we've seen him have to multi-class already quite a bit today. He was on the Moonkin. Now we're going to see him on the Warrior. How do you think he will fare?
I have no question in my mind that Jellybean is going to perform on that Warrior. Jellybeans in general is a very clutch player. He's individually super skilled, but I think that question would have been a little bit better suited for Supatees, considering he felt the brunt of that very recently.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay, I lost the 1v1 tournament to Jellybeans, and Zico's trying to make me feel bad. He lost his too, though, so it's okay. We can soothe each other on the desk.
Did Ven win?
Yeah.
Ven won.
Ven won the entire tournament.
Yeah, we're just sit over here. Just, you know.
Yeah, well, Ven's won BlizzCons, he's won tournaments. That's why we pull out Ven only when we really do need him for that master analysis. But as we can see right now, it's pretty obvious that the move, you don't have to be an expert analyst to see that they definitely had their back somewhat against the wall, not only in this series, but in the entire tournament. It's going to be an interesting year to see how they do adapt. But let's go back in our little mental time machine and actually think back to how their season did start. They had a pretty bad start to their season last year. It took some time for them to figure everything out, and then Ven, once they did figure it out, they just became the biggest threat ever.
Well, I think it was the end of Legion, right? They were still running the same compositions. They just didn't work, and we thought their team, their roster made no sense. It's like you're playing Hunter Shadowbreeze. What is going on right now? No one's ever seen that. They weren't winning games, but then all of a sudden in BFA, all of their comps owned, and they started just destroying everybody, and you could never count them out again after that.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't, but can we count them out right now? I don't think that we can. They've brought a new composition here. Let's see if it's enough to tie up the series.
All right, Jellybeans, WizK, they know who to target. That's going to be the Warlock. Let's see how Maldiva deals with this pressure. And so far, it looks so good. Metaphors with Iron Bark. Maldiva's going to pull the trigger on that Infernals. Dropping Rain of Fire is important. That's an instant cast way to spend Soul Shards and increase the damage of your next Chaos Bolt. So Maldiva's Chaos Bolts are going to be massive here moving forward, and if they disrespect, they could just go down. Jellybeans, WizK know that. They're retreating back, but Maldiva's moving in. He's getting ready. This next Chaos Bolt could just find a kill if they're not careful. Mind Freeze from WizK denies the Chaos Bolt. They need to keep stopping it for as long as possible. Another Chaos Bolt attempt. Does he fake cast the pummel is now the question. Gets Death Grip. Chaos Bolt being casted. Gets shut down, and Chaos Bolt still might squeak in at the last anti-magic zone. WizK is not going to disrespect that whatsoever. Saves the day with this purple zone, but even still, the pressure mounting. Nesper just tearing in.
Yeah, a lot of damage. There's some Maledict onto Jellybeans with a kidney shot. Can they take him down? Safeguard does proc to keep Jellybeans alive. That shield trinket, very powerful. But Jellybeans has no trinket. Upsurge into a fear. Jellybeans has to...
Oh!
Sap out of the fear coming in from Nest for the classic RLD crowd control. Fear from Jellybeans. That's a very defensive fear. He's not going to have that available for Metaphors. And this is what I'm saying, Storm, they have the move in such a defensive position. The move hasn't practiced this comp as much as you would have hoped. They're not rotating their defensive cooldowns. They're overlapping their trinkets. Now finally trying to get some damage rolling on Maldiva, but this is not looking too good.
Fortunately, using your Gliders Medallion for both Vendetta and Infernals is going to be an even trade. And now that that threat is gone, Jellybeans and WizKid can kind of go at Maldiva. Let's see how much he can deal with this. Kidney Shot and WizKid. Icebound Fortitude used to get out of that to do damage. So that's a very aggressive maneuver from a Death Knight. You typically want to use that to stay alive, but it doesn't seem like he cares. He knows Jellybeans is the primary target. Maybe he's trying to bait them to switch onto him instead of Jellybeans so that Jellybeans can go in battle stance. Might be a bit of a mind game there from him, not just an over-aggressive move. Maldiva still just taking the brunt of this exchange. Upsurge playing max range away. Mana even on both sides. No real advantage there, but Metaphors is running Thorns, which is full advantage against two melee classes that have to attack into it. I would like to see the team of the move switch targets when that happens. Attack Nesper a bit. He's always going to be close to them, attacking them on their back. Jellybeans WizK pinned down at the Tiger statue. They don't want to go on Maldiva out in the open. That could be dangerous. And Upsurge actually gets spell locked. Nice move by Maldiva. That's going to put Jellybeans behind.
Yep, Jellybeans and WizK under fire right now. Chaos Bolt connects onto Jellybeans. He has to leap away once again. Upsurge on 50% mana. The amount of damage that Nesper and Maldiva are doing is taxing the mana of Upsurge quite a bit, but both Druids are sitting down right now looking for a drink, and you would think that the Unholy Death Knight and the Arms Warrior sitting on a Warlock would be able to put out massive pressure, but so far, WizK and Jellybeans, they've had to run away and hide for most of this game.
With the addition of Demon Armor, increasing the Warlock's armor and max health, and these Restoration Druid buffs, it's a very durable target against basically every threat in the game. I think we've only seen Assassination Rogues really able to penetrate through this type of defense, and now WizK's aggressive move earlier on could cost him the game. He's getting bursted. Maledict soaking up the heals. Upsurge trades Iron Bark to stay in the fight, but they've had to overcommit cooldowns to stay in it. Infernal gets dropped. Maldiva wants to get going. If he's able to spend Soul Shards, he's got Rain of Fire. Next Chaos Bolt could hit very hard. He's channeling it. Do they have a stop? No. One Chaos Bolt about to go off as it connects there onto Jellybeans. If another one goes off, it could just be the end of the game. Maldiva's channeling it. They need to stop it. WizK Death Grips. Will they be able to keep stopping it? Maldiva, Mortal Coil, Chaos Bolt. They have to stop it. He's trying to fake cast the pummels, get through all the interrupts, and nail this Chaos Bolt. Just not able to find it. There it is. This could be devastation. Chaos Bolt. Jellybeans trades right away to respect the cooldowns. He knows that Maldiva is going to be doing massive damage and does not want to accidentally go down. Good awareness on Jellybeans' part, but every time that happens, he's not going to have that die by the sword for the next time.
Yeah, and now they're trying to get aggressive on Maldiva, get some counter pressure, but Metaphors has just been able to heal through this damage so easily so far in this game. Maldiva still has the unending resolve. Big burst, though, coming in from the move. Nice pressure on Maldiva, finally having to run away a little bit. Hiding, trying to run for that gateway if he needs it, manages to escape. Nesper going to keep up the snares now, swap over onto Upsurge. Can they bait the Barskin? Nesper looking for some AoE pressure on all three targets, but Upsurge really isn't that scared. Maldiva wasn't able to connect any damage, and I feel like Nesper sitting on Upsurge isn't necessarily going to be doing the most in this situation.
I'm curious to see how it plays out. Upsurge bashing Metaphors, entangling Roots, likely Cloak of Shadows to get out of that. Maybe a Dispel. He needs Metaphors there. Metaphors dispels Nesper. Nesper is just going on a solo mission, and Maldiva's going to have to 2v2 a Warrior and a Death Knight. Not very easy task for a Warlock, especially playing. I think his positioning could be better. He needs to pull away from this ramp. Jellybeans and WizK can use it to line of sight, and Maldiva's slowly making his way to a better position to keep them in his line of sight and cast. He just needs to keep casting whatever he can. Fear, Chaos Bolt, Cataclysm, Incinerate. Maldiva just needs to keep casting spells and putting pressure out. Upsurge actually getting sapped by Nesper in the back line while Maldiva generates pressure, but really not enough to pressure them away from himself just yet. Double Mortal Coil, Chaos Bolt gets stunned by the pet of WizK, but now another one follows up on the back end of that bash, and they are both dipping low. Upsurge sitting a lot of crowd control while his team is effectively getting 2v2'd, and Nesper goes after Upsurge. This strategy could end up working for Storm, but it's costing them a lot of mana.
Yeah, it definitely is. Upsurge now moving in, trying to connect the heal over time effects onto Jellybeans. All those Restoration Druid heal over time effects are very powerful, especially right now. He should be able to top off his team, but Nesper's just looking to pressure down Upsurge, make him make some mistakes here, trying to really test how good Absurge is on that Wrestler Druid. Nesper now coming back, putting the Ruptures onto WizK, onto Jellybeans, help Maldiva just a little bit, generate some pressure on this Warrior Death Knight.
It is likely that Jellybeans and WizK are running the Bonded Souls Azurite trait, so whenever they use spells and abilities, they have a chance to proc a heal on themselves, so they can keep healing each other, even if Absurge is far away, and that is a recent Azurite trait in this patch. Definitely one you want to get if you're playing with double melee on your team, and that's how they're able to just stay on Maldiva even without a healer. Maldiva dips low, Maledicts from Absurge to try and take him out. Metaphors get stunned up, but so far so good, and it seems like Nesper has given up on that strategy of going after Absurge, instead now going back onto Jellybeans. Nesper, no, I guess he wants to go after Absurge again, walks into a bash, removes that immediately, and more importantly, aggressively. They could switch to Nesper and just blow him up here very shortly if they want to try and punish that move that he initiated. Metaphor's in position to deny some damage here. Iron Barking, Thorns, a bit of an overlap. You would normally want to space these out, and that's why Jellybeans and WizK are like, okay, you gave both those, we're just going to run away for a second, attack Nesper, and wait. Maldiva's ramping his damage as well, so a bit of a mistimed attack there. No one held down in place. Maldiva needs a Chaos Bolt. He's going to go for the double Mortal Coil play. Gets interrupted by WizK. That interrupt isn't going to last forever. Maldiva's got a couple more seconds. He goes for a Shadow Fury. This Chaos Bolt could be devastating. One Chaos Bolt, two Chaos Bolts. WizK could get taken out. Trades out the Death Pact. Stays in the fight just a little bit longer, but momentum is still in favor of Storm, I would believe, for most of this fight, and the move have to make something happen soon.
That was both Maledicts, though, so WizK managed to survive that storm. A lot of damage coming in from this team. Nesper now trying to kite away, gets disarmed. He has the Vendetta available. Metaphors activates the Thorns on Maldiva, making Jellybeans and WizK sort of think twice before attacking him, but they don't care. Unending Resolve is forced out. Absurge kiting away, finally having to come back, and you can look, Absurge mana is being taxed so heavily. Metaphors a little bit earlier on sat down for a drink, regenerated some of that mana with every tick he sat down and had, and now he has a commanding mana lead.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't looking good for the move. I'm not sure. They've got a couple opportunities here to kill Nesper or Maldiva because they've been playing a little bit overly aggressive. Unending Resolve to attack, and Nesper using that Human Racial to attack Absurge. But Absurge caught in a stun with no way out. Nesper just really going at him, trying to get a solo kill. Absurge obviously ulting on this Druid, so maybe Nesper trying to exploit that. It could just be that he feels it's the best target. He doesn't get cleaved down by the Warrior and the Death Knight, and he can isolate Absurge, get Life Bloom onto the more vulnerable target, and then make a switch. Right now, WizK is most likely, or Absurge is most likely target to go down. Maldiva needs another minute and 15 seconds. If Storm can stay alive to that point, I'm not sure if the move will recover from the next attack. Jellybeans, if he has to use Die by the Sword before that point, it could be devastation. He's very low on health. Maldiva just mashing out Chaos Bolts. Anti-Magic Shield had to be committed. WizK is slow. Jellybeans is low. Everyone on the move is just dying a slow and painful death.
And not a place to be when you are the move. 23% dampening. Absurge now into full fear. Jellybeans has to Die by the Sword available if he needs it, but it looks like WizK is the target of choice for them. Nesper getting a little low. A big target swap here from the move as they make their way back to Maldiva. They need to shut down this Destruction Warlock. One Maledict hits, and I just realized with the Maledicts as well as Sharpened Blade, Jellybeans has so much healing reduction on Maldiva. If they can continue those chains with any crowd control on Metaphors, it's just difficult because Metaphors is positioned so far away. Need a fear or something, but Jellybeans seems to be holding on to it for a little bit longer.
Sharpened Blade committed as Jellybeans leads the charge for his team, but they're attacking into Thorns. That could be devastating. Nesper gets a re-stealth, goes for a blind play, tries to sap the trinket, doesn't get it, moves back into the fight with two targets low. Momentum in favor of Storm. No mana left on either side. Metaphor's trying to take advantage and get a drink, regenerate mana, and get a huge advantage if he can manage to do it. Jellybeans, WizK, I'm not sure if they see it. He's sitting down, I believe, and getting mana back. They go after Nesper to try and get a kill, but Jellybeans can't keep it up. They deny the drink, but he already got the mana. The damage is done, and Storm have a lead. The Infernal gets dropped. Chaos Bolts are flying. There's really not much left. After no mana to work with, this next Chaos Bolt could close the game if they are not careful. Fear secured. Maldiva hard carry. Where's the Chaos Bolt? They duck behind the corner on the balcony, but they're just rotting down. Maldiva has a couple more seconds to get a Chaos Bolt. He's going after Absurge with it. They're going for the swap. Absurge could just get completely annihilated. They grip Nesper away, but another Chaos Bolt Maledict combo, and Absurge doesn't have much to work with as Nesper goes all in for the kill. Absurge on the run, jumping back behind out of line of sight, but with dampening so high, no mana to work when Nesper can just have his way with Absurge. Jellybeans leads back, saves the day for a few more seconds, but I'm not sure how much longer Absurge can keep it up.
33% dampening. Iron Bark about to fade. If they can get back on Absurge, it's big trouble, but a kidney shot on Jellybeans. They are switching targets. Nesper looking for more damage on Absurge, really punishing him. Absurge has to play this game phenomenally well. WizK getting low as well. Storm just has pressure on all three members. Defensive fear coming in from Jellybeans once again. He hasn't been able to land those on Metaphors. They've just had to play so defensive in this matchup. They haven't been able to get much cleave damage going on any resolve. Is going to be used by Maldiva as he looks to get some Chaos Bolts on WizK.
With Thorns, they can't afford to attack. WizK solo, Absurge is solo. He's got Innervate. Maybe Absurge can make something happen with that. It makes all of his spells free. He needs to make sure he gets every single expensive spell off that he can. If Maldiva actually is able to dispel it with his Fell Hunter, it could just close the game. Everybody is dying. What are you going to do, Absurge? Can you pull off the miracle with 3 targets so low and absolutely no mana left in the face of 40% dampening and a giant Chaos Bolt? There's the Innervate. Absurge has a couple seconds to try and get his team topped off. He's managing to hold on just a little longer. There might be an opportunity to kill Maldiva even at the end of this dark tunnel. Maldiva doesn't actually have much to survive. If they can commit a big Sharpened Blade, triple Maledict, they could potentially take him out, but Jellybean's just so low. They stop the Chaos Bolts. They keep it going just a little bit long, playing this out to the bitter end, trying to take any advantages that they can, but Chaos Bolts are flying in, and Jellybeans really doesn't have much. He leaps back around the corner, and I don't know how Absurge did it, but he managed to get himself back to full health. If he can keep them going a little bit longer, there could be some sort of opportunity.
Yeah, WizK still low. Jellybeans pushing in. He wants to help WizK keep this damage rolling, but he is the one that's dying. Caught down at 20% HP. Absurge, no mana left. You can't see anything in that blue bar. Metaphors has a little bit of gas left in the tank. 44% dampening. Jellybeans trying to get away. We've seen what happened when Nesper can Fan of Knives all three members. Absurge, how are you going to hold on? And ultimately, he cannot. Storm take this game and up in the series 2-0.
We have seen Absurge manage to heal with 0 mana so many times, but this time it is going to be unrelenting pressure, and the Storm comes crashing down. They're going to be able to take yet another win. Zico, how do you see the rest of the series going?
I think we're going to need to look at another comp swap.
Yeah.
I honestly think, of course, there's some inexperience as well, but the fact that Metaphors was just able to get drink after drink after drink, I think that was a really, really big reason to why Storm were able to win this one. It all came down to the mana, and double melee isn't as effective as you guys already pointed out. By tunneling that Warlock, because of that demon skin, you don't really have that same punch as you used to, where you could just sit on the Warlock. If you tanked an occasional Chaos Bolt, it was fine because your pressure was so high anyway with those 2 melees that the Warlock was the one who would have to run. That's not going to be the case anymore. Nesper going to be able to put out a lot of pressure with those kidney shots, free up the Warlock for some Chaos Bolts, and Maldiva, of course, going to be taking a lot less damage, and that's all you need to set up those drinks for Metaphors and then extend the game to a point where you can actually win.
We're curious if Maldiva makes that choice moving into this match. We're going to have to wait and see, but the move, they're against the ropes again. They just love keeping their fans on the edge of their seat.
They definitely do. It's not something that's new with them, but this composition in particular, how fast do you think they need to find a win, Zico?
Oh, I think after 20-25% dampening, if they haven't managed to secure a kill, most likely onto Maldiva, then it's going to be very grim. We're going to see Metaphors again on that Druid, have that mana lead. We're going to see just the stronger healing in dampening as well from that Rusted Druid, really carry that momentum of Storm all the way to the finish line. So we need the move to play aggressive, maybe try to get a nice go with a lot of purges onto Maldiva and all in him earlier. Before that point in the game, I wanted to see Thug Cleave with a Druid or Rogue Shadow Breeze with a Druid. They have locked in the Thug Cleave with a Shaman, so I still think it's a good call to make. I still like this composition, just more durable, better offense, easier time to land some CCs as well. So it has a lot of things going for it, but it also has that weakness of you're going to be forced to run away eventually, stack up behind the pillar, and then Nesper is going to get to have a field day with your team.
We keep seeing Absurge just trying to make it home to that Shaman, right? He just keeps going back to it. Do you think it's because of not just a level of maybe not being comfortable, but ultimately do you feel like you see a lot of mistakes come out when we actually do watch games?
I don't know. I feel like there's just not the experience there on the Restoration Shaman or on the Restoration Druid just yet. And I think with the Shaman, especially against the Destruction Warlock, it's a lot easier to deal with because of how familiar he is, with the grounding and the wind shear. They know exactly what they need to do to win. I think that extra little bit of offense from the Resto Shaman is something to move that plays into their strengths as well. They want to play really, really aggressive, get those purges on the heal over time effect. So if they are getting those extended crowd control chains, they can actually get a win. Whereas the Resto Druid, it doesn't really play in to their play style. They could play it a little bit slower and try to stall out the game a little longer, wait for long CC chains, but it seems like they're more gas pedal their opponents.
There's so many reasons that we see them move back to it time and time again, keep going for these compositions that they are comfortable on. And, when we look forward to the rest of the year, to future tournaments, maybe we expect them to really start changing things. Here and now, when your back's against the wall yet again, it does seem like it might be the right place, Sid.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the move do. They go back to their bread and butter even when it doesn't seem good whatsoever. They make it work, and they could potentially reverse sweep, and Storm are unlikely to have a different composition available. So if this is the answer and they can make it work and find victory, then they could just walk away for the rest of the series. But I think it's going to be a pretty long walk through a lot of deep dampening and a lot of stressful moments, so it's not simply a walk in the park. I'm curious to see if they can do it, and we're going to find out here very shortly.
If you crack the code against Storm, you've cracked it, right? They don't have much else to throw at you, but when you look at what we've seen throughout all of these games, Zico, it seems like they are pretty far away from doing that, but we'll find out right now. Maybe the move on this composition will be able to go back to back to back. They need to do it to stay in this tournament. If not, Storm is going to guarantee their spot in Sunday and send the move packing.
Yeah, I think the move, they're going to be looking for extended crowd control chains. They could even do sort of a strategy where they go on metaphors. They're playing diamond dice. They might be able to just go on metaphors, get them low, put them in a trap, then swap to someone else and just continuously switch targets and keep their opponents guessing.
Metaphor is going to have to predict who they attack, really, because the Warlock is standard, but they could make a switch. Jellybean's got Flare out to try and find Nesper. He waited. Fortunately, they're actually going to open with Kidney Shot. Maybe just Metaphors right off the bat. Maybe they train him start to finish. Very aggressive choice on match point for the move to make such a risky target selection, and so far has not net them any advantage. Their opener is now almost completely thwarted. Maldiva is left open. If he's able to get some Chaos Bolts, it could be devastation here as he is ramping up these Chaos Bolts. They could be gigantic. Kidney Shot on Maldiva. Smoke Bomb gets dropped here by Nesper to actually set up a swap on Jellybeans, bursting him down quite effectively. Maldiva's got insane damage. This next Chaos Bolt is insanely huge if he's able to get it off. He gets interrupted by Jellybeans, silenced by Peekaboo. Can they keep stopping Maldiva long enough? If he can get this Chaos Bolt off, it's going to be devastating, not able to find it. Now this Chaos Bolt going to be a lot more lackluster. A Kidney Shot and Metaphors, they keep bouncing back and forth onto him. Maledict on this swap as well. A stun to follow up, maybe just an all-in. Are they going to be able to do it? Metaphor's Bark's going to use his Iron Bark, but he's still quite low.
Yeah, he has no Trinket, no Bark Skin, no Iron Bark. The next setup coming in from the move could be scary. If Absurge decides to pull the trigger with his mana, charging in, getting off a lot of offensive purges, they might be able to take him down, but Metaphor still has his Gateway. He didn't overreact. He has the Thorns as well. Now Peekaboo could be in some trouble. Full trap on Metaphors. That's going to give the move an opportunity for the Hots to sort of fall off of Metaphors. If they Kidney Shot him out of this, it could be a little bit scary.
All right, Peekaboo retreating away with Absurge, but they left Jellybeans behind. He's taking a ton of damage, and
there it is.
Tries to deflect it, but here's the swap. They have to kill him. Jellybeans makes his way over. Do they have any follow-up? No. And Maldiva's going to Mortal Coil both members away and fear the healer. Good support for Metaphors. The move trying to take advantage of what Snuts did earlier on against the Metaphors and go after him. And so far it's a lot of pressure, but it's making them quite vulnerable. And Maldiva's doing a great job to capitalize on being left open and free casting tons of damage. Peekaboo dips dangerously low. They are on match point. He could just fall at any moment. Peekaboo tries to reverse it with a swap to Nesper. Smoke Bomb gets dropped, but Peekaboo's still on the back foot. Spiritling Totem available. If Absurge gets spell locked, it could be Curtains. He's got a tough decision. Does he go for the risky heal? Jellybeans gets bursted. 2 Chaos Bolts. Gladiator safeguard. That shield gonna soak up a hit. Absurge gets stun locked. Maledix gets connected. Aspect of the Turtle has been forced, and Absurge is flailing to keep his team going.
Yeah, Jellybean's still low. No aspect of the turtle. Spirit Link does get dropped out by Absurge. He gets bashed on it. He has his trinket, but with no healing left. Jellybeans is very vulnerable. All 3 members from the move getting lower and lower. Metaphors has the Bark Skin, has the Iron Bark, everything to survive. This is Storm's game to lose at this point. Full fear on Absurge. Unfortunately for him, it does break. Nesper is using the Fan of Knives, still just trying to pressure down everyone. Kidney shot on Nesper. The move is trying to slow them down a little bit. By Absurge some time to get some healing out, but with that Corrode Silence coming in from Nesper, it's just so difficult. Huge pressure on all 3 members of the move.
All right, Metaphor's trading trinket, but everybody is dying on Absurge's team. His mana is not looking good. They're on match point. They need a miracle. Chaos Bolt straight to the face towards Jellybeans. Maledict committed as well, absorbing all that healing, and Jellybeans does not have anything to stay alive. He's forced to retreat back behind the pillar. Can Absurge pick him up in time? Maldiva pushing forward. Nesper pushing forward to just end this match and close the series out. Send the move packing. Infernal gets dropped. Maldiva's going to start ramping. Rain of Fire building up that Chaos Bolt damage. If Maldiva gets a Chaos Bolt within this next little 10-second window of time, it could just be the end of the match. 1 Chaos Bolt straight forward. Another one could end the game. They go after Absurge. He's so low. Peekaboo buys some time. They go after Nesper. They try and pull off the miracle and kill him. There's a freezing trap on Metaphors. If they can manage to find a kill here, it would be an absolute miracle. Can they do it? Nesper's still low. Chaos Bolt still flying. Jellybeans has got nothing left. Absurge has basically no mana. They clothesline Peekaboo. Absurge moves back to keep him in the fight just that little bit longer. Bashed by Metaphors. Stalls out the healing. Peekaboo just tanking Chaos Bolt after Chaos Bolt and unable to generate any counter pressure. Maldiva is just an absolute terror in this game.
Yeah, Peekaboo's still low. Absurge having a very difficult time topping him off, but with a full trap on Metaphors, Nesper could be vulnerable. No evasion left, but Peekaboo is just too low to feel confident to push in and actually take down Nesper during that crowd control chain. I don't know if Metaphor is going to have a blind for the next, or a trinket for the next blind. Absurge getting swapped to. Nice kidney shot coming in from Nesper. Absurge gets out of line of sight. There isn't going to be any more Chaos Bolts coming in from Maldiva. Ultimately, Absurge should survive, but Peekaboo's caught in the midfield right now. Kidney shots Nesper, trying to avoid a stun on himself as he has no trinket and no defensives. Stun on Metaphors, potential full trap. Is Nesper vulnerable here, Sid?
Yeah, he most certainly is, but Peekaboo is stun locked in reversal into the Mortal Coil. If Maldiva gets a Chaos Bolt off during this time, not actually going for it, instead just generating soul shards. Vendetta from Nesper, he's going to be doing a lot more damage at this moment. Peekaboo respects that cooldown. Cloak of Shadows avoids the Chaos Bolt, and Absurge somehow, someway has managed to stabilize his team, keep them in the fight. Can they reverse sweep? They have to win 3 games in a row, or the move are going home right now, and Storm are going to send them packing. Metaphors with the mana lead. Dampening has just started. Cooldowns are very restricted. Jellybeans needs another 6 seconds for that aspect of the turtle, but if he does not have Gladiator's Medallion, he can't activate it, so Jellybeans is vulnerable in this position. Maldiva and Nesper are trying to find a way to navigate forward. They don't really actually have that much offense, so it's going to be difficult for them to push the move over at this period of time. Metaphor stun into a trap. 3-on-1 towards Nesper. What's Maldiva going to do to support him? Double Mortal Coil, perfect timing once again. And now into a kidney shot with no Gladiator's Medallion. Absurge has to carry. Doing a good job so far, but now caught into a blind. Actually trying to sit through the blind and not use his Gladiator's Medallion. He wants to pair it with that Spirit Link Totem, and that's good preemptive measures by Absurge. He gets away with it, and suddenly the move are etching to an even mana field if they can keep this up a little longer.
Yeah, Storm has lost all of their pressure. Peekaboo's still a little bit low, though. That's an opportunity. Stun on Metaphors. All 3 members of Storm caught in crowd control. Nice hacks. Nesper all alone. Is there any follow-up for Metaphors in this situation? Feint and evasion keeping Nesper alive a little bit longer. Metaphors trying to get in there. Gets the Iron Bark onto Nesper. Now Peekaboo could be the one that is in a little bit of trouble with full fear onto Absurge. Pressure being reversed. Evasion used by Peekaboo as well. Nice Mortal Coil. There's the Infernals coming in from Maldiva. Peekaboo getting lower. Absurge has the Spirit Link Totem. That's the last thing he has left. And almost no mana left in the tank.
Yeah, Maldiva just carrying this next Chaos Bolt again. If he can get it off in time, the move know that Chaos Bolt is devastation. They're not sure what to do. Do they stay on the same pillar? Do they cross the map? Maldiva's moving forward. That Chaos Bolt will kill basically anyone if he can get it off. He needs to start casting it. This Chaos Bolt could kill. He gets it off on a Peekaboo. Tons of damage. Absurge has no mana left. Jellybeans goes in with Aspect of the Turtle to avoid Chaos Bolt, to get a freezing trap, to potentially carry the game on his back, but it's not enough. Nesper is not taking any damage. Everybody on the move is just simply dying. Maldiva's damage is too much to handle. The Earthen Wall Totem's defense is now over. Absurd is caught into fear. It's a triple kill potentially for Storm, and Peekaboo ultimately falls. The move are going home. Maldiva is a wrecking ball in this lower bracket.
The Storm keeps on rolling, and yeah, you look at Maldiva, and nothing but praises for him. He's literally the Oprah of Chaos Bolts throughout the entirety of that matchup. Just everybody getting Chaos Bolts straight to the face. How is Maldiva able to create so much pressure?
Well, he just positions in a way where it's very, very hard for the move to actually go on him and at the same time land those crowd controls. As soon as they do go on him, it's just very, very hard because he will make sure that the counter pressure lands, and when he does that, you just have to leave him free. And then when he is free and they trap up Metaforce and go after Nesper, he always comes in clutch with that double mortar coil, always making sure that Nesper doesn't go down in that crowd control chain. And once that crowd control chain is over, that's when Maldiva can be aggressive and push in forward and try to land those big juicy Chaos Bolts. And you live long enough and you will win. That's what it always comes down to.
Yeah, I do.
Upsurge, he keeps them alive. 15%, 20% dampening, but he can't do more than that.
Yeah, I do want to note, though, you find so many players, like, just applause for the move, ultimately. We're not going to see any more of them for in the tournament, but it looked like they were absolutely deflated and taken out of that game quite a few times, and all of a sudden, they do find a couple of goes. They do find these opportunities. That's why they are one of these top teams in the world, but they have a lot to figure out before next week. I think that's going to be super telling. Storm looks like a huge threat. They are still going to be competing tomorrow when we do get to Championship Sunday, but there are two more teams that we are going to get to look at today. We are going